Where's Sarah?
Okay, here we are. Salad dressings and what you need to know and why it's so much better to be making your own, have them in the fridge. They last several weeks once you make them. Certainly there's some limitations if you're using raw egg or something like that. But the first thing I want to do is I want to introduce a guest chef. I'm not sure where he's gone, but hopefully we see him. If anybody sees him, please let me know in the chat. I can't seem to find him. I have a guest chef today who's going to help us with the tasting, describe some flavors. Oh, wait a second. Here he is. It's my guy, the E-Man. Okay.
And here's E Junior.
Okay. E Junior is a mini loaf of bread that Elliot made today with me. We made our sourdough. And Elliot has made a little bed because E Junior is too precious, needs a nap.
And he wants to kill him.
I want to turn him into toast, but Elliot is not in favor of that. So, airtight packaging. Let's put E Junior away.
Oh,
we'll do it after.
Sealed.
We'll do that after. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, let's talk about why store-bought dressings. You can buy Greek or Italian or whatever you want, and they all somewhat taste the same. Well, let's talk about what's used in these dressings from a food safety perspective for packaging and shelf storage to make things easy in the process. Producers, sauce makers only use dried herbs. Okay, there's something that happens in the process of drying herbs that changes their flavor significantly. So, Elliot,
and I'm gonna bite into an egg.
No, you're not. So I want you to taste this. I want you to just put your finger and go. Just taste it.
Is it a spice?
It's an herb, and it's not a very strong herb.
Okay.
Very mild herb. I'm going to tell Elliot at the end what he's tasting. Does it taste like much?
No.
No, it doesn't. Okay. What about this one? This is a totally different herb. Does it taste much different?
Just like sticks.
Yeah. But does it taste much different?
No.
No, it doesn't taste much different. These are three distinctly different herbs. This one, we might see a difference.
Kind of like a ginger tea kind of different taste.
Right. It's got a little spicier. It's got a slightly spicier effect, but still herbaceously, we would expect some type of resiny oil like a rosemary or oregano or thyme, or a citrusy oil like basil or mint or cilantro.
We have two things. So one from Sarah Shuja.
Oh, yeah.
Found the guest chef. He's right beside you. Another one. Sarah Shuja. It's E.
She's on to you. Okay, so we've tasted the dry herbs, and they're largely indistinguishable. They're indistinguishable because all herbs go through what we call a volatility. In other words, to give their distinct flavors, they break down, sort of like mini nuclear bombs going off on your palate. And
that would hurt.
That would hurt. And actually, it does hurt your palate. And that's what tantalizes and tingles the senses and wakes up your nasal capacity.
Taste me what I was tasting.
Yeah, now you're going to get to taste the fresh versions.
What was I eating?
You had some thyme, some rosemary, and some basil.
Oh,
now let's try this. Let's just try a small amount of that. So we talked about the dried herbs. Ultimately, when they go through that breakdown process, they result in the same thing, fiber, right? We're talking about, dried chlorophyll, a little bit of fiber, and some of the resiny in the strong herbs like rosemary or oregano. You get a little bit of the resiny effect, but not very much. In a good dried oregano, you will get
need water.
a significant.
It's stuck in my throat.
Okay.
Do they know where we live? Do they know where we live?
No. Okay.
71 Oriole Road.
Please don't do that. So now what happens is you have that volatility when you have the fresh herb, and you can see Elliot's experiencing a spiciness. It's a very mild, fresh thyme, but it is so much more impactful. When you make a dressing at home, that impact is absorbed by the oil. That flavor is delivered in the oil and the fats that you use to make the dressing. And so you have a profoundly different effect on your salad dressing. So that is the first reason. There's going to be several reasons to make dressings for yourself. The second, shelf stability. Most dressings, if you omit fragile products like eggs and you just go with oil and vinegar, spices and herbs, they can last you weeks. So just making an appropriate volume of dressing to last you the amount of time that your home would consume it.
I will be right back. I'm taking a bathroom break.
Okay, sounds good. So the next thing we want to look at is the types of associations of vinegars. Largely, the citric or the acid concentration of a dressing, a store-bought dressing, is going to be consistently the same, because to qualify under federal expansion, they have to meet a pH content, typically below 4, which is extremely acidic. Okay, and many dressings you can have deliciously at a pH content that's not so acidic. So something around a 5, okay, or a 6 pH, and it delivers just enough acidity to break down the fats with a lot of flavor. Well, what would that be? Something like a pomegranate juice. If I just take this pomegranate juice, reduce it by half, I don't even need vinegar in my dressing. So you get enough citric, you get enough acid in your dressing to balance it out by using potentially different levels of acidic concentration. So for example, rice wine vinegar versus balsamic vinegar. And then we get into sugar concentrations. Same thing with oils. So we get different viscosities. Avocado oil versus grapeseed oil. Typically, to save money in the packaging process and the production process, a lot of producers go with a low quality olive oil, or they go with a low quality canola or vegetable oil. Elliot, I'm going to need to get you to whisk some eggs soon.
I just went to check on my dog.
Okay, so can you please separate an egg in here? Okay, I need the yolk in one.
What did you do while I was gone?
I just talked to...
Did you taste anything?
I did not. I talked to everybody about the idea of different vinegars and oils. And so essentially we're just going to make 3 different dressings today, really, really quickly.
Oops.
We'll make one emulsion based. Okay, so we need to separate that egg. So we're going to scoop out the yolk, because the emulsion type dressing is going to be what we would consider a Caesar type dressing. Okay, so a very thick dressing. Here, Elliot.
We just drop everything on the floor.
That's what we do. And a way to sort of figure out how to make dressings, a simple way, if you don't know what vinegar to use, take a sample. Take something like your cucumber, or take something like your red pepper, and dip it in the vinegar all on its own. So Elliot, you're going to do another taste test.
Daddy.
And you're going to tell me you're going to tell me which vinegar you prefer, with which item, okay? We just have
Did you know that yesterday I had a giant maple syrup Nutella bacon inside giant waffles?
Okay. I did not know that. How did it taste?
Heaven.
Heaven?
Like
Okay.
heaven. It tasted like heaven.
Elliot, I'm giving you 3 different vinegars, and you're going to dip each vegetable in each vinegar, and you're going to tell me which vegetable tastes best with which vinegar.
What's the third vegetable?
Okay, so you only have 2 vegetables. First, take a cucumber, dip it in here, okay? You didn't dip it in.
Oh.
Okay, now take a cucumber, dip it in the next one.
Pretty good.
Yeah, in this one it'll be very good, yeah.
Kind of tangy.
Mm-hmm.
How do I feel like that soy sauce?
It looks like soy sauce, but it's not soy sauce.
Super tangy.
Super tangy. Which one did you like the best? The super tangy? Okay. Why did you like the super tangy the best?
Because I like surprises. And it's like a surprise trip.
Okay. So that's a pretty decent balsamic vinegar that Elliot chose to go with his cucumber.
Okay.
Did you get a good amount on this one?
Well, Got another comment.
Okay.
Another from Sarah Shuja. My
Yeah.
goodness. Oh, the idea of a
Surprise flavor in sauces sounds fun. Absolutely. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to do a little reduction of pomegranate juice here to make one dressing.
Oh, God. He does not go well with pomegranate juice.
Actually, we can try it. We can do this as a surprise flavor. Let's dip cucumber in that.
Oh, no. God, where's the knife?
Just take one of the ones I cut. Right there.
On a piece.
Okay, thanks. Okay, good. Make sure it's dipped well. Yeah. How did that taste?
I didn't really taste anything.
You didn't taste too much?
I
Okay.
didn't taste that much.
Okay. He's right. The pomegranate's watered down on the cucumber, but it is sweeter. What happens is that the cucumber all of a sudden starts tasting sweeter. The acidity is there, but it's making the cucumber waterier. It's not until you get to a really intense acidity that you feel it.
It makes the pepper feel lighter.
Actually, that's exactly what
It
happens.
makes the pepper feel lighter, like sweeter.
Fresher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
More
So
watery.
okay. So that's exactly. So you see
Sweeter.
when you
Did
have
I say sweeter
yeah,
already?
because the pomegranate has a higher sugar content. We'll put this in with what we're reducing.
Yay! Sugar.
Now I'm going to show you 3 dressings you can have in your fridge. I have 1 shallot and the pomegranate juice, and I'm going to just cut this shallot in pieces, and I'm going to stick it into we'll have
my
it there.
face, my mouth.
Into your mouth? No, we're just putting it in about a cup and a half of pomegranate
Okay.
juice.
You want,
We'll
can I
reduce
push
that
this
down.
guy down?
Yes, you can.
Should I start whisking?
You can whisk that up. Yeah, we'll make the emulsified without the yelling, please. So the next thing is emulsified dressings. So typically, just like with the powdered herbs or dried herbs, you're going to have powdered garlic or powdered ginger in the background, those root spices that might give you those distinguishing, delicious aspects. Well, for us, when you use fresh garlic, once you put it in vinegar, once you've made your dressing, your pH comes low enough, your acidity comes low enough. With an emulsified dressing, just keep it quite acidic and you can get a great shelf life out of it. You can get a good 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you. So the next thing we do, what's important for an emulsified dressing, we're going to wait to add salt.
I just put salt
is a balance between a emulsifier like lecithin that's found in egg yolk. There are the easiest source from most home kitchens.
I'm gonna do a salt taste test.
Can you please let me
Can I
finish
do a salt
talking?
taste test?
Please let me finish talking.
Can I do a salt taste test?
You just did it.
No, I didn't.
I saw you.
I didn't taste anything.
I saw you.
I really did not
So
taste
Elliot loves kosher salt. That's just how it goes. So with an emulsified dressing, you want to make sure that you're going with big, bold flavors in your emulsifier. So in this case, to our egg yolk, we're going to get our big, bold flavor. So we have some anchovy right here. And we're just going to...
That's anchovy?
Yeah, just a little anchovy paste.
I thought you meant the fish.
It is the fish ground up into a paste. And it has salt. Okay, and Elliot's going to stir that in really well.
And I'm going to eat it.
Okay, and in my case, I don't have any fresh garlic going in. What I have going in right now is we're just going to chop some fresh chive, some chive from the garden that's floured. It's kind of extra strong.
It looks like caramel.
Yeah, we're going to do a chive.
Is it caramel or caramel?
Tomato or tomato? That's a good question.
I said caramel or caramel.
So once we have our flavor base made, you can add a pinch of salt now, and you can do 10 cracks of black pepper. That's too much salt. That's okay. That's actually okay. You'll notice when you add the salt, the egg yolk starts to go watery. It's just a natural part of the process. Don't worry about it. It will thin up slightly.
That's true.
Yeah, it will thin up. It will go a little thinner. So crack 10 cracks of pepper in there.
1.
Now, the easiest way to make an emulsified dressing is to use something that's pre-emulsified. So in our case, we're going with big flavors. So we're going to do a nice heaping spoon of mustard. Okay.
I want to dunk it in.
Mustard is already emulsified with some water. Water is another necessary ingredient. If you want to cheat at home, just take a teaspoon, a large heaping teaspoon of mayonnaise.
This is going to taste horrible.
No, it's not. You've eaten this several times before. And add a spoon of mayonnaise. You might say, well, is it cheating? Not technically, because the dressing you're making is emulsified mayonnaise anyway.
I do recognize this.
So you're going to end up making a mayonnaise.
Oh
so
my gosh!
May I speak? I need to speak.
It looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we need to add our acid and a little water to get the emulsification. What needs to happen is you need to have the egg yolk, you need to have water, and you need to have vinegar.
I understand you're mad at me.
I'm not mad. What do you need to put in here still? I'm asking you the question.
Water?
You're making the sauce. Yeah. You need some water. So cold water, please.
Got it.
No, that's your drinking water. Measuring spoon. Just get it. You don't need a lot. So half of that.
How's that possible?
Just half. A little bit more. Actually, yeah, that's good. Okay. Maybe that's too much. Half of what you have in there. And then what do you still need to add in there? If you needed a fat, the lecithin from the egg yolk,
I
and you
put
need
half.
water, and you need vinegar, what else do you need now? What do you still need?
Vinegar.
Right. Our vinegar can be anything from lemon juice,
I know
grapefruit
exactly
juice,
what you're gonna say.
white wine vinegar, white vinegar, any one of these vinegars. And since we've got mustard and anchovy, I'm going to do a little balance. I'm going to do a little bit of balsamic and a little bit of rice wine because I don't want the balsamic. The balsamic's too sweet to go with the anchovy in my mind. It's a little too deep and fruity. So I'm just going to sort of make my own red wine vinegar because I don't have red wine vinegar. I'm all out currently. So I'm just having some fun and balancing it off.
Hey,
Can you whisk that together, please, Elliot?
Oh, that looks so much like caramel. No, it looks like chocolate milk.
Okay, so now we have our, let's do it in front of our people watching. So we have our drip, please. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Let me.
Okay, no, we have to do this part very slowly. To keep the emulsion now, this is the one trick. Now you can do this with a food processor, an immersion blender, and it can be really quick, but we're learning how to do it with a whisk and a bowl because it is, you're gonna whisk, just back and forth, please, gently. Thank you. So what do we have in here so far? Let's recap before you whisk.
Egg yolks, fish.
Which fish?
Naomi.
Anchovy.
Anchovy. Naomi is the name of a
Anchovy. What else do we have in here?
Salt.
Yeah. What goes with salt? That's an easy one. They go together. Salt and
pepper.
And what else? We used the thing I put in your.
This.
What is that?
Mustard.
Okay. Yeah.
And then mayonnaise.
So we have our richness, and we've built in our.
And then I do not know.
Okay, so we're gonna taste this quickly now.
What?
You can do another. Yeah, do a taste. This needs to be really concentrated flavor. So that's it. A little more salt and about 5 more cracks of pepper, please. That's good. That's great.
Oh no.
That's great. That's good. So this should be really powerful and overwhelming. And at the end, I'll add my chive. And I was talking about how the impact of dried versus...
Put it in already.
Okay. Dried versus fresh. Okay. When we do the fresh, it will start breaking down. So you can just add them. You can make the dressing and add the fresh herbs as you're using it, as opposed to adding the fresh herbs at the beginning, because we want to store these for several weeks in our fridge. So here we go. So we start, if you can see this in the skills cam.
Skills cam?
Yeah. Okay, we start very slowly, pouring very, very, very slowly, a very slow, steady stream. And this will start to tighten up.
What do you mean tighten up?
Good question. Become thick.
When do I get to taste test?
You will taste test in different stages. You can grab a few teaspoons, Elliot, and be ready to taste. So depending on your volumes and depending on the direction, I'm just using a grapeseed oil right now, and I'll finish it with a tiny bit of olive oil for 2 reasons. Olive oil on its own in the fridge solidifies, and that will break your emulsion. It will split it. So when you go to bring it out of the fridge, so you can see here how nicely this dressing is emulsifying. And depending on how, I'm not making a mayonnaise or a Caesar dressing here. I'm just making an emulsified dressing. So one that's uniform in texture and flavor throughout. And I'll just finish with, we'll get that later, Elliot.
No, that's something I need.
Oh.
Can I taste this now?
So we've increased our volume by approximately 4 times. So we have about 25% of the flavor is intense flavoring agents like vinegar or anchovy or mustard.
You don't know what I'm gonna do.
You're sipping some?
Oh, no.
Okay,
So I sip it up, then I pour it into this, which will leak it into that.
Can you do me a favor? Just tell me if this tastes good. I love your creative process.
What?
Okay. Is it flavorful enough? Too flavorful?
It's not that sweet, to be honest.
No, it's definitely not sweet. Oh, how is the flavor?
It's okay. How's my tasting spoon?
I kind of like it, actually. It's really darn good. It needs a few more cracks of pepper. Okay, thank you. That's wonderful. Stop, please.
Put 5.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Elliot, now we are going to make a simple pickling style dressing. Okay, one that we might use with just cucumber, sliced cucumber. And we'll go ahead and we'll finish this at the end. And the final part of this, if you don't have a canning funnel and mason jars, please run out and get them, because they really are what makes sort of this process super easy, clean, and sort of a no-brainer to...
No-brainer?
No-brainer. In other words, you don't have to think about it. And we go here. What
type of knife is this?
It's called an oyster knife. It's called an oyster knife, Elliot. Actually, that's a clam knife.
Cutting oysters.
For opening clams. It's actually a clam knife. So there we have our anchovy mustard dressing, which Elliot has consumed many times, but we've never told him. This is the first time he's found out. Ooh, daddy tricks.
Wait.
Okay.
Should we do a taste test on that?
No, we'll do a taste test once it's fully reduced, and we'll see the difference.
Just how long is that?
Okay, let's do a reminder. Remember we tried some dried herbs? And
no, we didn't.
Yes, at the beginning you tasted those dried herbs on the plate. This is one of the fresh versions of those herbs. Tell me what you taste that's different.
Nothing, because I didn't even eat the whole leaf.
Okay, we'll eat the whole leaf.
It's 6:01?
Mm-hmm.
What? It's easier to look at that time.
Okay.
Because it's always 1 hour, but... Or maybe it's 1 hour in front.
So when we're making a pickling dressing, what do you taste that's different about those herbs? How long does the flavor last in your mouth? Is it still there?
Nope.
The flavor from eating this is not still in your mouth?
It is not in my mouth.
Okay, I had the exact same thing, and I still taste it, no problem. Double check, because I really believe that it should still be there. So when we want to do something that's quick for something like fresh slaw, fresh cucumber, fresh radish, we think about sweet and spicy. So we think about being able to bring along a little bit of heat.
Don't taste it anymore.
That's surprising because I'm still tasting the fresh, just one sprig of fresh rosemary is still alive on my palate. And that's the difference. And that's why it's the term we use for what we taste in our mouth. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of cider vinegar and rice wine vinegar combined. You can do one or the other.
Are you supposed to drink
you can
that?
use
Didn't
pure...
I drink this at Home's Kitchen?
No, you drink apple cider. And so what we use is a little bit of, you can use pure white vinegar, but this is where you need the acidic concentration high. We still use a tiny bit of water. So Elliot, can you add this to the bowl? And we're going to use sort of 3 parts vinegar to 1 part water. So let's actually just do this whole thing. And when I say 3 parts, Elliot, to 1 part, if I did 1 part water and I put that in, how many parts of vinegar do I need? That's 1 part, and I need 3 parts of vinegar.
I need 2 more.
Okay, that would make 3 in total. I need 4 in total. I need 1 part water, 3 more. So I want you to do 1 of this, and I'm going to get you the other vinegar. Okay. So here we're dealing with a 5% alcohol by volume, a 4.5%, and a 4%. The reason I'm switching up between them is because they have different aromatic and sugar qualities on the final product. I don't want too strong a vinegar element to what we're making.
Can I try the cider?
Fruit element. I want more of a pure acid element.
I just broke off the...
No, you did great. I'll pour that.
Oh.
And I'll pour this.
It's not open. Oh, it is.
It is open.
Is it able to touch my hand?
Yep.
Good, because it touched my hand a little. My hands are very wet.
Let's rinse them.
Why?
Okay.
Because it could burn.
So we have reduced our pomegranate juice. Let's rinse and dry, please. Okay, so we have our base vinegar. We're going to get, so we've done 3 parts water, 3 parts vinegar, 1 part water with an acid concentration of we want it high, 4.5 to 5%. And now we're going to season with salt and pepper, and I'm going to get you a little honey.
Can you just tell them something for a second?
Do I need to talk to them?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Don't do the honey without me.
I'm doing the honey right now, so gonna happen.
Wait, can I have a spoon?
So 1 part...
I need a spoon.
Honey. So I did a heaping tablespoon, more like a 1/2 part. You can make this sweeter. It depends on your own personal profile. Now you can use chili flake or fresh jalapeno pepper, fresh Thai finger chilies, anything at this point to spice up. And you're basically tricking or teasing the palate at multiple points at the exact same time, except for the sugar. That you need the sugar for the pickling liquid to get the mouth salivating before the spices start happening. Otherwise, it's going to hurt. Okay, and so when you get the palate salivating with a little bit of sugar or water, boom, it's ready to receive all that flavor, and it cleans up fast enough that the palate isn't overwhelmed and it's kept fresh and delicious. And so once we have essentially sugar, vinegar, and spice, you have your fresh dressing. You can use, in this case, where we went with 3 parts oil for that thick emulsified dressing. Here we're going to just go with 1 part oil, right? We've used the water to thin the vinegars, and we're just going to use 1 part avocado oil to help coat. As you mix the different items together, you'll use a tiny bit of fat to coat the vegetable to hold the flavor there on the palate. Otherwise, it's too fresh. Okay, please. So, Elliot, can you dip this into this? Can you dip this pepper into that dressing now? Can you dip that into the dressing and tell me what you think now?
Honey, a little spoon of honey, please. And why does it look dirty?
It's got pepper in it.
Oh.
What do you think? What would you do to make it taste better?
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup, so not sweet enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. That's sort of an automatic default
Sarah
in most
agreed
cases.
you messed up
I messed up.
by not giving me a tiny spoon of honey.
Oh, okay. I'm actually thinking it's pretty good because what will happen now when you coat the vegetables, the salt will draw out a little water.
Stop pushing me, dude.
It will thin out. You need it to be quite intense with the vinegar. I can taste the honey in the dressing. Please leave the honey alone. Elliot,
need more. I
please.
need a little spoon.
No, you don't.
Sarah even agreed you messed up a lot.
Okay, so now we need to pour this dressing. So we've had a high-fat dressing. We've had a low-fat dressing.
What's a low-fat dressing?
And now let's do one where we're using sort of a mid-range and we're doing concentrated flavors. We can do this with chicken stock. We can do it with veal stock to help really deepen and make a dressing earthy. Let's say if you're using balsamic vinegar, you can take a tiny bit of veal demi or veal jus and add it to your dressing to really intensify.
Where'd it go? Aren't you going to put it in there?
Yeah, we're going to rinse it quickly. Can you get the jar set up where we can
pour it in?
Yeah.
There it is.
Can you pour that dressing in here, please?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? All the honey is not in there. There's a lot not dissolved right here. And it has, okay, you can have that taste, but it's going to be salt, pepper, honey, and vinegar. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just taste like sour honey. No! That was mine, dude.
Actually, that was really good. Wow.
I made a good decision.
Yes, you did.
And you stole my last tasting spoon.
So the final thing is a balanced dressing using a low-fat profile. So in this case, we've taken a little pomegranate juice, and we're just going to go straight in the jar now because it's not emulsified. Step back. Can I get the... And here, to concentrate flavor, to really make it impactful, I reduced...
Don't put that in my hair.
About 1 cup of pomegranate juice to about half a cup. Okay.
I'm going to soak
With
some
a
of that up.
shot. Now we'll season. Are you going to season this or am I?
Can I taste it?
Are you going to season this dressing or am I? Just answer, please. Okay, 5 twists. Okay, that's great. That's 5. That's 5. I counted.
7.
Okay, that was 7. Okay.
Now, time to taste the dressing.
Now we blend this when we want to minimize the amount of fat and use different oils. We want to stay healthier. You can use things like sesame oil or walnut oil, and it really helps us reduce the amount of fats we require because they're so flavorful. We then would go to sort of nicer, richer viscosity oils like olive oil, really good extra virgin olive oil, or avocado oil.
Air. Look, you can see the air. This is really cool. You can see the air.
Bubbling. Okay, please keep it away from my computer.
See, you can see the air.
Yeah, you can. And we're just going to do this now. We talked about parts and ratios. We had a ratio of 25% for our first dressing. We had a ratio of 75% for our second dressing. And now we're going to a ratio of 50%. Okay, where we just have 50% of our flavor is our main ingredient. And then the second part is our fat, our oil, whatever we're using to hold that on the palate and create a little viscosity. I'm going to use a tiny bit of sesame oil here. And again, Elliot, we're going to get you to grab your spoon. Grab a clean spoon, and we're going to get you to taste. No, is that clean?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to stir this up really well and
little
taste
wet.
it. And then we're going to add our herbs. Now, this is going back to the idea of buying a store-bought dressing versus a homemade dressing. All of these dressings in their current state would last 3 weeks in my fridge, no problem, because I have nothing that's going to spoil, and I have a pH content low enough that it preserves and sort of keeps food safe, any of the items that are in the dressing. When I go to serve the dressing for my meal, I might chop up a bunch of fresh chives, parsley, cilantro, basil, whatever you want, and add it. For the resiny herbs, the longer they're in the dressing, like rosemary or thyme or oregano, the stronger the flavor will build. They really do intensify, especially.
That really builds right here.
Okay, in the back.
No, like right here.
Did you taste the pomegranate? So underneath.
Like right here.
Okay, what did you taste? It's still a little bit warm.
Not much. Like, tasted a little like this.
Like that, exactly. So the pomegranate turns into, because the acidity doesn't change, this is currently a little warm. So Elliot's not tasting as much of the acidity. Once this is chilled down, the acid will show up more prominently on the palate. That's fantastic. So the pomegranate, excuse me, we're going to stop, not cut right now. You can cut after. You're doing a great job though, and we can use those for sure. We'll use those in the pomegranate dressing, and we'll put it on the cucumbers later.
What?
So the intensity of the pomegranate, if you can think about how rich a pomegranate is, it intensifies even further when you reduce it on the stove. The acidity stays the same and then concentrates and intensifies, becomes more like a vinegar. And you can do this with many high acid fruit, and you can use it as a substitute in your dressings.
Label came off.
Creates a lot of versatility just by going, if you're out of a vinegar or you're out of a flavored vinegar, just go reduce a fruit juice and add it to your dressing. So check out the beginning of this video if you want to learn about why the store-bought dressings all taste the same and how you can make amazing dressings that last in your fridge for several weeks, saving you tons of time. We'll see you next time.
Money.
And it's actually true. And money. We'll see you next time. Look for us eating good with E and O. And we'll be back with Quizzical Chef in a week. Take care. Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye. Oh, we got one.
Oh, yeah. Mariah.
There's so much to learn in this video. Is it going to be up for a while so I can listen a few times when I try each type of dressing?
Sure.
Bye.
Yes, absolutely. We can do that. Happy to share this. Bye. Thanks for joining us.
So it was Sarah. It was Sarah and Grandma.